In this video, we got another episode of this series where I rate and improve your guys' teams. You guys will send me your teams on Twitter at X7Tanaka. I'll put out a tweet maybe once every couple of days asking for squads on Twitter, and then you guys will in the replies let me know your squad and how much MT you guys have, just like everybody in this video did. They let me know their squad and how much MT they have, and then I'll go through and pick as many people as possible, put them in the video, give you guys my best suggestions to help improve your team. But if you guys also want to comment your team down below, and on the YouTube video, I'll try to go through as many comments as possible and give you guys my best suggestions. So to make sure to leave your team and how much MT you guys have down below. But looking at the first squad here coming in from Zaza, for the rating out of 10, I would probably go to a 9.5 to a 10. I mean, this is a really good squad. Like he said, he just needs a better point guard. Livingston does have 31 Hall of Fame badges and he's got 200k. So the simple answer, I think, is just Amen Thompson. If you were to get Amen Thompson over Sean Livingston, I think that's all you really have to do for this squad. If you also wanted to make another kind of minor upgrade, I think Tracy McGrady, the Radiant version, is a pretty decent upgrade over Brandon Miller, and I think he'll be a much better shooting guard, especially next to an Amen Thompson. So you can have Anthony Black maybe coming off the bench, start Amen Thompson, and then have T-Mac, the Radiant version, as your backup shooting guard. I think that's a big upgrade. I mean, T-Mac is still one of the best offensive cards in the game, and then I personally like Mark Eden a lot more than Ralph Sampson. So I'm not sure if you've tried out Mark Eden or if you don't like him or if you just like Ralph Sampson a lot, but I would maybe look into selling Ralph Sampson and just picking up Mark Eden. I believe they are the exact same price, but all around a really good squad. You got endgame Kevin Durant and Invincible Victor Yama. Don't really need too many suggestions for that squad. But looking at the next team here coming in from Chickman, of course, man, everybody's got Invincible Victor Yama. Like, is he one of the most, I think he pulled him actually or bought him on the auction house. Yeah, it looks like he bought him on the auction house, but I feel like Victor obviously isn't one of the most common cards in the game, but I feel like a lot of people do have Invincible Victor Yama. But yeah, he says he's got 350,000 MT, and this is a squad. I mean, a really good team besides maybe a couple cards off the bench, but a really good all-around team. I'd say easily a 9 to 9.5. I think once again, the main suggestion you need is a better backup point guard. I would personally look into getting maybe an Anthony Black, a Luka Doncic. Like, if you want a top tier offensive point guard, I think Luka Doncic could be a great point guard to have off the bench. And then once again, Brandon Miller, I think, could be upgraded to an interdimensional Tim Thomas. That card's only about 85, 90k. Maybe 100,000 MT at most on Xbox, which is a really good price for Tim Thomas. So I would look to get TT, the interdimensional version, as your backup shooting guard, and then look to get like Anthony Black or Luka Doncic to be your backup point guard. And then for your backup small forward position, I would look to get a taller small forward, whether it's like a Kevin Garnett, a Jonathan Isaac, a Big Z. I just think you need a little bit more size. I really do like Zion as a card. I think he's very fun to use. So if you want to keep Zion, you can definitely go ahead and do so. But what I would do for your squad is get Luka Doncic backup point guard. I would get Tim Thomas backup shooting guard, and then I would get Kevin Garnett, the out of position card, as your backup small forward. But all around, once again, a really good team with Invincible Victor Wembanyama. Looking at the next team here, finally doesn't have the Invincible Victor Wembanyama, but he does have the next version. It's going to be from Trey Goat. He's got 180,000 MT. We'll probably pick Paulo to replace Malone from the option pack. So he's going to most likely get Ben Carroll as his starting small forward. For the rating out of 10, I would give this team like a 8.5. Maybe. It's a good squad, maybe 8.5. It's a good team. I think there obviously could be some suggestions and upgrades you can make to your squad. I'll go 8.5 for the rating. For your backup shooting guard position, I think you for sure need a better backup shooting guard. I would personally look to get Radiant T-Mac. He's only about like 75k, 70,000, so you'll be left with still over 100,000 MT to work with, and you'll get such a good backup shooting guard to pair alongside Ron Artest. So right off the bat, your backcourt's now done. You got Amen Thompson, KD on the starting lineup, and then you got Ron Artest and T-Mac off the bench. I think you're good to go there. I like your small forwards with Karl Malone and Bob Nedelecki, and I do like your centers as well. I just think you got to get a better backup power forward, whether that's a Dark Matter D-Rob, whether that's a Taco Fall if you wanted to spend most of your MT, right? You could just go ahead and get Taco Fall and go ahead and get Radiant T-Mac and call it a day, right? If you get Taco Fall for backup power forward and you get Radiant T-Mac for backup shooting guard, that's all you really have to do for your squad. But if you don't want to get Taco Fall, you know, D-Rob's still a really good option. Marc Gasol, Dirk, those are going to be really good options to play alongside Sabonis off your bench. But looking at the next team here coming in from I'm going to mispronounce that, so I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, but he's got 600,000 MT to work with. And once again, another Invincible Victor Yama. So what I'm seeing from your squad right away, rating out of 10, I mean, it's one of the best teams in the game, probably easy 9.5. You got Curry in there, who maybe isn't the best, but I'm sure you like using Curry. So what I would do, the first thing I can see that pops right into my mind is what I would do. First off, move Victor Yama to small forward, move Shaq to power forward, right? So move Invincible Victor to small forward, Shaq to power forward. I would look to get either the Galaxy Opal Yao Ming, the Dark Matter Yao Ming, or go ahead and just move Mark Eden to your starting center position. And then your starting lineup would be Curry, Kevin Durant, Victor, Shaq, and let's say Yao or Mark Eden. You just want as much size as possible to play alongside Curry, so you can try to hide him on the court on defense. But then Paolo Banchero is kind of left out of the mix. So what you want to do is then move Paolo Banchero to your backup small forward position, and then decide, do you like LeBron more or do you like Tim Thomas more, and play one of those cards at the shooting guard position. So your bench would look something like MJ, let's just say LeBron, Paolo Banchero, Kristaps, and then I would go ahead and get Ralph Sampson. If you don't want to get Yao Ming and you just want to get Mark Eden, move him to the center position, and then I would get Ralph Sampson to play your backup center position. So your 10-man rotation would be Curry, MJ, KD, LeBron, Banchero, and Victor, then Banchero. Power forwards will be Shaq and Kristaps, and then centers, for example, let's say Mark Eden and Ralph Sampson. I do think your 10-man rotation does become a lot better. Looking at the next squad, once again, another Invincible Victor Wembanyama. I swear he's one of the most common cards in the game. Not actually, but for like a top tier card, I feel like he's one of the most common guys. But yeah, he's got 200,000 MT to work with and a pretty decent team. I would say rating maybe like a 9.5. You got Invincible Victor, so it can't be that low of a rating. The first thing that I'm seeing is probably upgrade your bench a tiny bit. I mean, for this squad with 200k, you really don't need any actual upgrades. I mean, you can make some small ones, like maybe getting a Taco Fall to play power forward. I do think that's actually a pretty big upgrade to play. Yeah, that's what I would do mainly, is get Taco Fall for your starting power forward position, move Jokic to the backup 4, and that's pretty much all you need to do for your squad. Taco Kristaps is a really good front court on the starting lineup, and then I really like Jokic, and then maybe get once again Mark Eden over Ralph Sampson. I just think he's a little bit better of a center card. And then yeah, I think you're pretty much good to go for this type of team. I would just recommend Taco Fall. Next squad here coming in from Element, I think is how you pronounce it. He's got around 100,000 MT to work with, and another amazing squad. Like, these teams all around are just great. Like, another team that's got Bol Bol, Kristaps, Mark Eden, like just such a good team. Another like 9 to 9.5. Like your point guards, like your shooting guards. Small forwards, once again, if you want a guy with a little bit more size, I would probably go Kevin Garnett, Jonathan Isaac, Big Z. I think those small forwards are a lot better than Zion. So yeah, that's my only suggestion for this type of team. I think really just get a Kevin Garnett or a Jonathan Isaac or a Big Z to play small forward over Zion. And I think you're pretty much good to go. You can maybe get like a Men Thompson over Ben Simmons if you wanted to. He's most likely cheaper, and I think he'll play a little bit better alongside Tim Thomas and Bol Bol. But looking at the last squad here of the video, guys, coming in from Hayden, he's going to say 60,000 MT for the bench. So I'm just going to build him a bench with 60,000 MT because his starting lineup is really, really good. So for your bench, you only got 60,000 MT to work with, so can't make that great of a squad. But off the bench, backup point guard, I would go probably Anthony Black. So 15,000 MT for Anthony Black. Backup shooting guard, I would go Asar Thompson, 10,000 MT, so that's 25k. Backup small forward, I will go Karl Malone for about 10k, so that's 35,000 MT. For power forward, I would go Marc Gasol. He's about 10,000, so 45k. And then for 15,000 MT, you probably just have to go get Arvydas Sabonis to play your backup center position. So your bench will be Anthony Black, Asar Thompson, Karl Malone, Marc Gasol, and Arvydas Sabonis. I think that's the best, bench you can build with 60,000 MT. But yeah, guys, that's going to be another episode of this series where I rate and improve your guys' team. Let me know in the comment section down below, like I said earlier, your squad, how much MT you guys have, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.